Today we're going to tie the Flashback Jig Nymph. The hook I'm using is the Orvis Tactical Barbless hook. This one is a size 12. I've already put on a 3.3mm slotted tungsten bead. This one is brass colored. In order to secure the bead and give the fly even more weight, I'm going to add just some turns of lead-free wire. This one is 0.050. And then here, a nice way to secure this is, as you have this opening here, you can take flat-nosed pliers and just squeeze the end of your wire here to flatten it just a little. And this should allow you to push it up inside the bead this way, and there it will be really secure. And then we can break off the tag. So I'll add just a drop of glue to secure this even more. Then, in order to build up the shape of the fly a little and to really secure this wire here, I'm going to use Uni 6/0 in white. So I'll start right behind the wire and then go up just over the wire a few times to really secure this. Here we can cut off the tag. The thread I'm going to be using then to tie the actual fly is this Nanosilk from Semperfli. This one is 80/0 in beige. I'm going to tie this in right here at the back, and I'll take it down to the bend of the hook. Continue building up the shape of the fly, which will be like cone shape or a nice taper to it from the back to the front. If you're happy, you can spin the bobbin counterclockwise. This will flatten the thread, and then we can make one last layer of thread on top. Then 3-turn whip finish. For the tails of this fly, I'm going to be using some pheasant tail. This one has been dyed in brown, but you could also use just regular one or any color to match the body. So taking 4 or 5 strands, take them 90 degrees from the stem and then tee them off so you have all the tips aligned. And here you want to make sure to do a couple of turns before starting to tie with this thread. Then take the measure. It should be about half the length of the hook or slightly longer, and then I will tie this up the whole length of the body, and then we can just tear these off. On the way back I'm going to tie in the body material. For this I'm using nymph skin. This one is 3mm in the color translucent. So what I do is to cut the end into a point like this. Then taking the longer edge facing down, I'm going to tie this in. You can really pull on this and tie it in with some heavy turns. And we want to take this down to where we tied in the tail. The next material, it's what gives this fly its name. It's some pearl tinsel, and we're going to tie this in right on top of the fly. Make sure it's well centered and starts right at the back of the fly. Now what you want to do is to go up the whole length of the body, then cut off the tag. And here what you want to do is to pull this tinsel here that you just tied in the whole length of the body, and with some quite heavy turns we can tie this in right here up at the front, and then cut it off. And then take your nymph skin and we'll start making slightly overlapping turns up the body, and as you build up this nice taper before, will only accentuate this shape once you tie in this material. And then when you reach the thread, tie it off with a few turns, then a couple in front, and then you can really pull on this and cut it off really close. And what you have here, I don't know if you can see it, but you have the flashback here just a little bit shining through, and the rest of the body is just this nice kind of translucent segmented body. And now here, before going further, what I like to do is to put in just a half hitch or a few turns with a whip finish. And then to really give this fly a natural look, I know this is quite the opposite of what a real nymph should look like, as a jig hook will ride upside down, so you will have a darker back on this jig hook, which will mean that the belly of the actual nymph that we're trying to imitate is going to be lighter, but it really doesn't have seen any difference, so why bother tying it upside down, which is much more difficult as you have the hook here. So we'll just tie it the regular way with a brown colored marker. I'm going to color 2 strips here along the top, and I want to kind of leave this flashback here in the middle shining through. So there we have the fly color. Now the next step is to varnish the bottom, and I'm just going to put down a really thin coat here along the top. This will set the color and as well make for a really durable fly, as these jig hooks are made to travel almost on the bottom or over rocks. You want to have your flies really durable, or the first cast you make you will have all the materials just sliding right off, and that's not what you want when you tie a fly. You could also do these flies with a quill body like this one, but in the same way this is a lot more brittle material than this nymph skin, and these jig hooks are really meant to be fished right near the bottom, almost jumping over the rocks. So if you have a fly with a quill body, once it's gone through the varnish it will break really easily. So this is a great alternative, and you also have this nice segmented body, and you can color it any way you like. This one is here in a brown and tan, or brown and like cream color. Another thing you could do is, instead of just doing this flashback here with one strip, you could take the tinsel and wrap it like an underbody, the same way I do for my Antron waxworms. I leave a link right here if you want to check this out. Then once this varnish here is dry, we can continue tying the front of the fly. And here the easiest way to do this is just to tie in like a dubbing hackle, and I think this is what I will do for this one. You could also tie in the same nymph skin again, and to do like a thorax cover you could do it either on this side or on this side if you want your fly to be more realistic. But here I think I'll make a really simple dubbing hackle, and you can do this in many ways. One of the easiest is to do the split thread technique, and this means you will split the thread in two, insert the dubbing and then spin it again in order to make like a chenille, and then wrap it forward. You could also just dub on your dubbing the usual way, tie it on and then brush it out to give the impression of legs and gills for this fly. Or you could also use like a soft hackle, tie in just a little bit of dubbing and then a soft hackle in front. This will give even more legs to the fly and give a nice movement to it. But for this one we'll keep it really simple. So what you want to do is to choose the dubbing you want to have. I'm going to go with some March Brown hard dubbing, and I'll mix in just a few of these natural fox squirrel. This will just give this little spikiness to the thorax area and will represent the legs really well. So I'm just mixing these two by hand. Then what you do is to spin your bobbin counterclockwise. This will allow you to, with your dubbing needle, split the thread in two really easily. You insert your index finger, and then what I do is to hold these between my other fingers, and then you can just take a small pinch at a time. You don't need any dubbing wax or anything on this to do this technique. So just by inserting a little pinch at a time, you will see that these will stick together. Then close your thread and we can spin the bobbin clockwise again. And if you keep the tension here, these shouldn't come undone. So spin the bobbin clockwise. This will cord the thread and make this a nice dubbing rope with all the hairs sticking out to the sides. And as you would for any hackle, for each turn here, we're going just in front of the last one, and at the same time I'm pulling back these fibers. And you don't want to overdo this dubbing color here. This one is just about the right amount. To finish off the fly in a neat way, I'm going to add just a little bit of glue onto the thread. And then the only thing left to do is to whip finish. So we'll whip finish here right behind the bead, and this really thin thread will allow us to do this without building up any thread color. What I really don't like on these nymphs, I like to have a nice clean dubbing color without seeing my thread shining through right in front. So this Nanosilk really helps me to achieve this look. And there we have the Flashback Jig Nymph. Thank you for liking and commenting. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time, and happy time!